Today I made for Ramadan date squares. Today's the last uh, business day before Ramadan, so I made these for Eric's employees. I got these medjool dates on sale, a big bag of them for only $3. What a great deal! Um, in the 1930s and 40s, it was very uncommon to find fresh fruit during some parts of the year, and so people used dates. As you can see, dates, these medjool dates especially, they have kind of a leathery, tough exterior, and so the way that you will typically use them in baked goods is that you will chop them up, as you see I started to do here, and you'll remove that pit that's in the middle of them. And I used a total of 3 cups of dates once they were well chopped up. And I just cover them with ever so slightly more than a cup of water in this bowl. Then I left that to sit overnight and I covered it. All right, and now the next morning, the dates have absorbed the majority of the liquid. Now I'm just taking a little bit of vanilla flavoring. You can absolutely use real vanilla if you have that. I bake so much. This is just like a teaspoon worth of vanilla. I bake so much that honestly, using vanilla bean paste would begin to get ridiculously expensive. And I do bake a lot for Eric's employees as well as my own employees at my office. So you can leave that out. It's not a must, but it does just a little splash of vanilla does kind of accentuate the date flavor. Mix that in. Okay, so here are our ingredients. We need 2 cups of oats. Now, I recommend that you use the old-fashioned kind. Um, but if you're shopping at Walmart, Walmart doesn't have in their own brand the old-fashioned oat, so you'd spend quite a bit more for the Quaker brand. So you could totally just use quick oats if you're shopping at Walmart. I have used this recipe with both old-fashioned, which is just a thicker oat, and the quick cooking oats, and they both come out delicious. It's just the old-fashioned gives a little bit chewier texture, which I like. So that was 2 cups of the oats, 1 cup of all-purpose flour. We have 3/4 of a cup of well packed light brown sugar. Anytime that a recipe calls for brown sugar, it's typically going to be packed in there in the cup. And I also have a teaspoon of baking soda, not baking sugar, baking powder, mind you, baking soda. Half a teaspoon of that, half a teaspoon of salt, and then cinnamon however much you like. If you don't like cinnamon in your oatmeal, you're not going to like it here. If you do, you will like it here. So this is kind of what sounds good to you. I like a good little sprinkle of cinnamon, and then 2 sticks of cold butter direct from the fridge. Now I chopped up these sticks of butter quite finely. The more finely you can chop them up, the better. I'm going to stick this cutting board into the refrigerator until I'm ready to use it. Okay, so we are taking our now well softened dates and we're going to put them into a mixie jar and blend them. If you find that you need to add just a tiny, tiny bit more water, just add it in like seriously, like less than half of a teaspoon at a time because we don't want excess water in this. Just enough water to make a paste. If there's any lumps in it, that is quite okay. All right, so I'm setting my oven to 350 degrees. I am spraying with vegetable oil or any neutral oil, a 9-inch springform pan. The 9-inch springform pan is a must for a well stocked kitchen. There's so many things that you can make with this. You can make New York style cheesecake, you can make the Basque cheesecake, any kind of ice box or ice cream cakes is going to need a springform pan, any kind of tort. Um, any kind of deep dish pizza you can easily make with this. How about pasta and pizza casseroles? There's so many things that you can do with this 9-inch springform pan. I have, I think, like 5 of them. So definitely get yourself one and make this recipe. It's so easy. So we're just dumping into a bowl our oats, our flour, brown sugar, our baking soda, not baking powder, right? Baking soda and salt, and then sprinkle to taste your cinnamon. I actually ended up putting a little more than that cinnamon in there. Okay, so we really want to mix this well. I really want to make sure that baking soda and the salt incorporates everywhere evenly. Now I have removed from the refrigerator my butter, and this is where we want to, in very small amounts, add some chunks of butter and then mix. Every time that we mix, we're coating each little cube of butter with the dry oats and the flour, and so that way it won't stick to other um, bits of butter. Um, Once that is well mixed, it's going to be really crumbly, as you can see here. We're going to take about, you can just eyeball it, about 2/3 of that um, oatmeal shortbread dough mixture, about 2/3 of it, and you're going to press it down into the springform pan. Now we will take the entirety of our date mix, just in dollops, just spread it around. Try not to disturb the lower crust. And then we will top with the remainder of our oatmeal oat shortbread dough. This is going to go into the oven for a minimum of 40 minutes. My oven ended up taking me 50 minutes, but I set my alarm for 40 minutes. I did my housework. I took a shower, got ready for work, and then I came back. And then at the 40-minute mark, I really did have to stay close to the oven because we're looking for the top to be golden brown. You see how easily that springform pan just pulled away. Now, this is what you're seeing here, that is a single serving. This is a very rich, buttery, sweet square. I wouldn't even make it into squares because it's so rich you can barely eat a sliver of it. So this can easily serve 20 or 25 even people for their coffee or tea break. Um, and I really hope that you will make this. You see how simple this was, and it's delicious.